So, you have now reached a point in time where you are now a family man and yet at the same time, gusto mo pa rin i-preserve yung pagiging car enthusiast while still owning a very practical and family-friendly SUV. Well, thankfully, Mazda's got you covered thanks to their broad range of AutoExe parts, of course, for their range of vehicles. In this case, what you're gonna be seeing here is this Mazda CX-60 diesel, which has basically been fitted with a select number of AutoExe parts. Therefore, ang tanong ngayon dyan is, how do these parts affect the Mazda CX-60's looks or even the way this car drives? That's exactly what we're going to be finding out in this car's review. More on that later. For now, if you like what you're seeing or even these kinds of reviews, why not hit subscribe and hit the bell? What a car! What a car this thing! So, this is the Mazda CX-60 diesel, which in this case comes with the AutoExe grille because as you're gonna see in the stock version or basically the normal CX-60, what it gets out of the factory is a more elegant mesh grille. In this case, with the AutoExe grille, meron ganitong mga sporty bars kung sabihin natin. And I'm not sure kung mapapansin nyo, but this Mazda CX-60 also comes with a sport suspension which lowers the car's ride height a bit, and at the same time, as you're gonna be seeing the driving experience, also improves upon the car's handling. As you're gonna move towards the wheels of the CX-60, you're also gonna be seeing these lug nuts or wheel protectors for the lug nuts kung sabihin natin. So this is actually both a security feature and helps in improving the wheels, the design of the wheels basically. Now, as you're also gonna see here, the car still looks good after 3 years in the market. So you have these lovely character lines with this smooth bodywork. And then, as we move towards the rear end of the CX-60, what you will also notice from the back are these sporty quad exhausts. Because in the stock CX-60, alam niyo naman na I complained with the car's fake quad exhaust tips. But at least here in the AutoExe version, or at least the AutoExe exhausts, these are now actual real exhausts. So basically, these are just some of the exterior accessories for the Mazda CX-60 from their AutoExe catalog because sa totoo lang, you can even get a body kit which will drastically improve upon the car's looks and well, it will help you stand out even more in a sea of beautiful Mazda CX-60s. But apart from the obvious visual and handling upgrades, meron din itong changes under its hood and even to the car structure. But before we go for a drive, let me also give you a recap sa kanyang engine specs, which you will now see here, along with a recap of its interior. Now, as mentioned nga, we're going to be focusing here mostly on the AutoExe parts for the Mazda CX-60. And so if you want to watch our full review, pwede yung tingnan yung description below or you can click on the top right-hand corner of the screen. But anyway, as you're going to be seeing here, again, yun nga, it is still a very lovely interior. And then, yun nga, you have a lot of physical controls for the climate and for the car's Mazda Connect infotainment system. And then, these seats are very comfortable. They're very supportive, especially on long drives. You also have this panoramic sunroof. And then, as for the rear seats, yun nga, though this is a mid-size two-row SUV, pero I wouldn't say it's generously spacious as you're gonna be seeing in my full review, but rather more on the sakto lang side. Because actually, sa totoo lang, a Honda CR-V feels marginally more spacious despite being a smaller, compact crossover SUV. Now, again, as a recap, going back to the car's trunk space, because that is also where you're gonna be seeing the car's rear tower brace. And so, with that in mind, how do these upgrades improve upon this car's drive dynamics? Yeah! We're gonna be first talking about the sportiness factor. So as a reminder, the Mazda CX-60 is a very sporty crossover SUV. Pero when I reviewed the car about more than a year ago na at this point, I found the suspension to be a bit too stiff. And so as a recap, they were able to address that with a very quick suspension update. So cars out of the factory last year already got the new suspension, and you can also retrofit the new shock absorbers if you want your CX-60's ride to improve. The slight problem with that new suspension though is while it has improved the ride because yun nga, lumambot din kanyang rear suspension, but because the front end has not changed, it's still using the same suspension as before. Though, don't get me wrong, the car was still sporty, pero let's just say na there are circumstances when you're pushing the car to the corners wherein yun nga, the front and rear ends don't feel unified with the new suspension update. Here with the AutoExe suspension, it actually improves upon that by making the front and rear ends of the car feel more cohesive and more unified. Yeah, it just made what is already a fun and very sporty crossover SUV even more fun. The lower ride height makes the car corner flatter because our center of gravity has been lowered somewhat. Along with the strut bar, the power braces of this car, ang sobrang rigid nung katawan nitong Mazda CX-60. There's this percentage of rigidity improvement which really makes this entire piece, kung sabihin natin, this entire vehicle feel like one massive rock. As in, it really feels very rigid. Kaya even if you're gonna be going over a corner na merong parang malubak, kung sabihin natin, it won't upset the vehicle's balance anymore at all, thus making this car very fun to drive, very fun to toss around. Ayan no, ang swabe niya kumorner, like there's no other two-row SUV at its price point that's able to corner with this level of sportiness and grip like this Mazda CX-60 with these AutoExe suspension upgrades. So other upgrades worth mentioning here is that, again, this is the diesel version, the diesel CX-60, and it also gets the AutoExe quad exhausts along with the suction air intake sa kanyang engine bay. And yeah, from a sound perspective, there's a bit of an improvement compared to the stock diesel version, but medyo minute for me yung difference. And it's something that you're gonna be able to tell lang probably if you've driven the diesel nang wala itong mga exhaust and intake upgrades. But to be fair, in the first place, for a diesel, this inline-6 diesel engine sounds good. My preference though would still be for the gas engine, but there's no denying na itong 3.3-liter diesel inline-6 has a lot of torque, pero in the first place, again, the gas version of the CX-60 is already filled with a lot of torque, and therefore, ang preference mo ng base is whether you like the incremental fuel economy improvement of the diesel versus the better sounding gas engine, and it's already efficient enough na fuel consumption figure. Also worth mentioning again is that yung kanyang 8-speed automatic as before, like in the CX-90 that I have reviewed just a few months ago, this is already the updated transmission. So it's now smoother. Sabi natin 90% perfect kasi there's still gonna be those moments na you're gonna feel a bit of roughness. Pero kung jerkiness ang pag-uusapan natin, that's about 95% good enough na here in the CX-60. Because in the CX-90 for some reason, talagang wala na yung jerkiness at all. Pero here in the CX-60, let's just say meron pa ring mga 3% or 5% na when you're launching from a stoplight tapos biglang you're gonna crawl into traffic, you're gonna feel a bit of that jerkiness. Pero when you're driving it enthusiastically, it's a very nice automatic. Talagang alam mong Mazda really developed the CX-60 to be a sporty SUV. Yun nga, it's much better sorted out na thanks to a software update for this 8-speed automatic. So ngayon, sundo ko na yung friends ko on our way to a road trip to Tagaytay. And, guys, pagkalaro naman kayo, oh. So, you're gonna see naman their names sa baba ng screen. And yeah, so...
Hi, I'm Carlo.
Click here. Subscribe. Follow.
O nga pala, isa po dyan, may fitness content po pala sa IG. So, sundan nyo po yung IG niya nga pala.
O, yun ako. Ganun ka. Subscribe. Follow. Lalagay ko na po yung link here.
So, ayun, with all of these people na ngayon sa CX-60 with the AutoExe Sport suspension, how does the suspension affect the car's ride quality? Ang nagulat ako dito is that despite having an improved handling characteristics, so it corners flatter, mas stable yung kanyang cornering capabilities, the ride quality is actually improved compared to the stock suspension of the Mazda CX-60. With this AutoExe suspension, it's definitely worth the upgrade over the stock suspension. As we're cruising around here ngayon sa Nuvali, you're gonna be seeing then na the car's very refined, very quiet. There's copious amounts of torque from the 3.3-liter inline-6 diesel. And then as for fuel economy, being the diesel CX-60, yes, there's actually improvement compared to the gas CX-60. Pero the improvement, believe it or not, is not that significant. Kung sabihin natin, mga around 2 kilometers per liter of a difference compared to the gas CX-60, which all basically due to the drivetrain of the CX-60, whether it's the gas or the diesel, having a 48-volt mild hybrid system.
So yeah, these AutoExe parts do improve in Mazda's ride and handling characteristics. Is it worth it? That depends on what you want to achieve. But single-handedly, at least for me, the Sport Suspension 6-figure upcharge does wonders to both ride and handling. Now for the full parts catalog, you can scan this QR code on the screen. Now as for the Mazda CX-60 itself, updates over the years have made it more polished than ever, thus making it easier to recommend.